Hi guys, today we're going to talk about Winter Storm Quinn heading for the Northeast. So this is another nor'easter following Winter Storm Riley, and I just wanted to talk about the differences between the winter storms that you're hearing about. Sometimes you hear about a nor'easter or an Alberta clipper, and basically the differences between these storms are where they originate from. This winter storm originates in Canada and kind of scoops down, follows a jet stream through the Rockies and enters the Midwest and Northeast. So these are fast-moving systems that typically produce a little bit of snow, and they're most known for their cold temperatures coming from that cool Arctic air down from Canada. And the nor'easters, which is what we're dealing with now, originate on the East Coast instead of the West Coast like the clippers. So they can form in the Gulf, picking up that strong Gulf moisture, bringing it up through the Atlantic. They can also form off the Carolinas, which is the case for this particular storm. So they're strengthening, getting that moisture from the ocean, and then they kind of run into or bomb out, which is what you're hearing. The pressure drops because that cold Arctic air meshes with the warm, moist ocean temperatures. And that's when you get your low pressure drops and a lot of snow, which is what we're going to see with this system. So we have a lot of winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings associated with Winter Storm Quinn. So winter storm warnings are in the pinks, and winter storm advisories are in the purples. Primarily pinks in the Northeast, eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, pretty much the eastern portion of the Northeast. So East New York and into New England all have winter storm warnings. So the timing on this is tonight. Around 7 p.m. is when things will get started down in Pennsylvania and work its way up. So the majority of the snow for Pennsylvania will be tonight into tomorrow, and New York into New England will see the majority of the snow into the day on Wednesday, tomorrow, and into the early hours on Thursday. So the worst of it will be tomorrow, Wednesday, and it should be cleared out by Thursday. So it's a fast-moving system, but unfortunately it'll bring a lot of snow for some portions. Particularly, this system will be a little bit east of what we saw with Riley, but less intense in terms of wind and coastal flooding. So there will be some flooding and there will be strong winds, but not as significant as Winter Storm Riley. So let's get into snowfall totals and who's seeing the most precipitation coming up next. So now let's look at the models. This forecast is a little tricky because of the rain, snow, freezing rain, precipitation line that kind of tracks up through the major cities. So Philadelphia, New York are right on the line. So if it tracks a little east, you could be seeing some more snow. And if it tracks a little west, you could be seeing less snow. So inland a little bit further, so eastern Pennsylvania, places like Allentown, York, all seeing higher snowfall totals, upwards of a foot or more, and same with eastern New York. And again, the snowfall totals are tricky for Boston as well, so I'll get into that, showing you what National Weather Service thinks, what I think, but let's take a look at what the models are showing for tonight. This is the GFS 6-hour precipitation rate, and this is valid at 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So the snow is starting to pick up in eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and central and eastern New York. And places like Philly and New York City will be seeing some snow in the early morning hours in Wednesday. So this is right during your morning commute, 7 a.m. Widespread snow in Pennsylvania, working its way to the east as Quinn moves up the east coast, and light to moderate snow for New York, getting into places like Massachusetts and Vermont as well. So now things are really picking up for Pennsylvania. This is 1 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. So heavy snow for the central eastern portions of Pennsylvania, and as well as widespread in New York and making its way further into New England. So the worst of the snow for Pennsylvania in the overnight hours tonight, early tomorrow morning into the afternoon, and the worst for New York, New England, later on into Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening, making its way out Thursday morning. The snow for New York is around 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Wednesday night. For New England, the heaviest snowfall will be overnight Wednesday night, so 1 a.m. on Thursday morning. Most of the snow is cleared out for Pennsylvania at this time, but strong winds will still linger, so power outages are possible, and blowing snow. Roadways could be slick, so be careful of that. And the heaviest snow will be for New England in the overnight hours on Thursday morning, Wednesday night. And 7 a.m. Thursday morning, places like Vermont and Maine seeing the heaviest snow at this time, but Quinn is making its way out. Could be some lingering snow into the early morning, early afternoon on Thursday for New York, but the worst of it will be on Wednesday. So the worst of it will be over by Thursday, but there still could be some lingering showers for New York and New England up until Saturday. So even though Winter Storm Quinn has moved out, still could be some light precipitation that you see in those areas to the north. Be careful approaching the weekend, and we'll talk about snowfall totals coming up. Here are National Weather Service expected snowfall totals. These are a little bit less than probably what you're seeing on Weather Channel, and that's because of this rain-snow line. Really, the eastern portions of the coast will be are forecasted, according to the models, to see less snow than further to the west. But this track can shift as we get later forecast runs. I'll try to keep you guys updated on where this line is going to be and who's going to see the most snow. So according to National Weather Service, places on the coast in New York are going to see much less snow. So JFK is going to see around 4 inches, so 3 to 4 inches, and New York City will see 5 to 8 inches. And then places to the west could see up to a foot of snow. So again, we're on this snow, freezing, rain line. Less snow to the east, so for Philadelphia, 5 to 7 inches. Places to the north and west in Pennsylvania, like Allentown, could see over a foot. So there's this kind of discrepancy between the snowfall totals. So less in the bigger cities, but unfortunately more in the rural areas, suburbs, could see some significant totals in snowfall. So Boston is another tricky one. National Weather Service is showing 2 inches for Boston, and then west in Massachusetts, places like Worthington could see up to 19 inches. So there's a widespread amount of snowfall possible. Really large differences between states. The western side of the states seeing a lot more snowfall than the eastern portions on the coast. But the coastline is not out of trouble because there's still winds, still strong winds, still coastal flooding possible for those areas along the coast. So they have their own dangers. That may not be large accumulations of snow, but again, this is a dangerous system. So be careful and be safe. And I'll be sure to put updates on my Instagram story for you guys. So hopefully you guys stay warm this midday week into the weekend. There could be some lingering snow showers still after the storm is done, but the later half of the weekend should be better than this earlier part. And with that, I hope you guys have a great snow day.